Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Tech Tuesday, because it's 3 o'clock and it's Tuesday. So today, if you are a cable operator and you have deployed DOCSIS 3.1, or you are deploying it, or you're thinking about deploying it, you really need to watch. Today's topic is DOCSIS PMA, which is Profile Management Application. And PMA can actually boost the capacity of your DOCSIS 3.1 network by 40% just by implementing it, and then improve the resiliency as plant conditions change. Be right back to tell you more. Thanks for joining me. Rick Husey here with Tech Tuesday today. So today's topic, as I mentioned, is PMA, DOCSIS Profile Management Application. And it's not a very sexy sounding thing, but it's coming out of Cable Labs, so they don't always, they're not too much worried about that. But so profile management application, especially the application part. But the way I think of it is an application that you can develop. But really, I think what it's talking about when it talks about application is applying profile management automatically, really is what you want to do in a DOCSIS cable plant. The different modulation profiles for all of the cable modems, which can be very tricky. And, one of the things that internet service providers or cable operators specifically are trying to do, cable operators, is they're trying to improve the capacity of their cable plant. So they're deploying DOCSIS 3.1, which takes them from single carrier QAM, SC QAM channels up to OFDM and OFDMA. And, there you've got, instead of a 6 megahertz SC QAM channel, you've got these channels that are like 192 megahertz, and then you've got subcarriers that are 25 to 50 kilohertz wide, and you could have 7,600 of those subcarriers on one OFDM channel. But it really does improve the capacity that you can provide for your customers. So that's why cable operators have upgraded or are upgrading to DOCSIS 3.1. You've got to have a 3.1 modem for the subscriber to be able to get that, and then it does require you to have a cleaner plant in order to do that, as you want these higher modulation orders than you would get. Normally on a SC QAM, you've got one modulation, maybe 256K QAM that you'd be running people at, whereas on DOCSIS 3.1, you've got lots of different modulation choices and profiles that you can give customers, and you want to manage that, and you can't possibly manage that manually. You want to manage it in such a way where customers, and that's one of the things with subcarriers on OFDM, is you can have different customers getting different modulation orders, so that you can provide people with the best service possible. And even though some customers may not be able to get the highest order modulation, a bunch of others may be able to get better modulation because of that particular customer's conditions around them and plant conditions, those kinds of things. But you can't possibly manage that all manually. But what PMA does is it's a closed loop automated system that will automatically select the best modulation profiles for the subcarriers and your subscriber cable modems, and then it'll kind of maintain that over time. So I'm going to talk about that today, get a little bit into that. So let's take a quick look here. So first, why PMA? Why do you want to do this? Well, again, DOCSIS 3.1 networks, internet service providers, cable operators have put a lot of dollars into upgrading to DOCSIS 3.1 if they're a cable operator, or if they're thinking about doing that. It's an investment to do that, and you're doing that for a reason. You want to get the best experience for your customers, more bandwidth, be able to provide higher speed packages. So part of the problem as you do that, as I mentioned, as you go to these higher order modulations, you see here it introduces greater sensitivity. So the networks need to be cleaner. So this can be a problem. So and one of the things that when you have a OFDM channel, if there's a part of the channel that's bad, the default process is to take all customers down to the lowest level, to the lowest common denominator. And you don't want to do that because, again, with all these subcarriers, you don't have to do that. You can have lots of your customers that are up at a higher modulation level and just exclude certain areas where there's noise, and you can have certain customers that are not, maybe because of their conditions, they can only get 256K QAM, but you want most of your customers maybe to be able to get the highest order, the 4096 QAM. So, but with that sensitivity, again, if you're not managing that properly, and again, it could be automated, then you're going to have all of your customers drop down to a lower modulation level. And you're not getting out of the investment what you really should be getting. It mentions here an upstream impairment in just one home can impact everybody. That's kind of that funneling effect on the upstream. So you've got all of your subscribers on your cable plant are funneling back to a CMTS, and could have more than one CMTS, but they're all going back to one specific CMTS, and one subscriber out there can impact everybody on that channel, because if noise is coming in there, and let's say they do something on the side of their house at the NID, at the demarc point, that would be letting in noise, then that's going to roll upstream and it's going to be impacting everybody. And if you've got lots of customers out there that have got little issues, then that's all cumulative. It's just like flows upstream and all collects, and by the time it's getting up to the CMTS, it can be pretty noisy. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's not really possible to tune everything manually when you're talking about 7,600 or subcarriers or however many you have. It's just not possible to look at all the subcarriers and all the subscribers on the channel and try to figure out what their modulation should be. And then especially the fact that things change over time. Then it mentions here you can avoid some OpEx spend and as well as CapEx spend. So if you can keep your customers happy by giving them the highest speeds possible and then not having things drop off a cliff when conditions change, then obviously that's another part of this problem. Then we've got a solution. So you see your PMA works around impairments to increase network capacity and resiliency. So again, you're going to have impairments on your network, and you may know where they are now. You may know that you've got some ingress in a particular part of a channel and you are trying to exclude that. But things change in other areas, and as any cable operator knows, things can change quickly. It could be just simply the weather changes, the temperature goes up or down, or you've got rain, moisture levels change. And that can cause conditions on the plant to change and cause new impairments to pop up at times and then go away. Maybe it gets some moisture and then it dries out. So these kinds of things happen, and you want to be able to go fix those things, and you want to be able to see those things and fix those things. But it would be best if you could keep people at a good solid level with their experience, even though you've got some of those issues going on. And PMA will help you do that, along with proactive network maintenance. So I wanted to mention, by the way, kind of here at the outset, if this sounds interesting to you, definitely reach out to us, because we've got two tools that you'd be interested in. One is DOCSIS PNM, that's proactive network maintenance. And then this tool, DOCSIS PMA, Profile Management Application, this also is something that we can provide. And those two things work together very well, because you can use PMA to maintain the experience for customers on your DOCSIS 3.1 network by making sure everybody's getting the best possible highest modulation order. And then you can identify where you've got some issues, and then you can use PNM to go find out and look where those issues are. So you can actually use the maps and figure out, is this affecting just one subscriber? Is it affecting multiple subscribers? Where is it likely? Is it at this active or somewhere in between and active and a passive? Where is the problem? So you can use those two tools together. So you see here, again, PMA works around those impairments, dynamically identifies and delivers optimal OFDM and OFDMA profiles to improve bandwidth. So the first time you use it, it's going to set up your profiles. It's going to look at everything. And I'll show a little diagram here of how it all kind of works in a diagram. But so it's going to get those profiles where they need to be. And then it's an ongoing process. So it's an automated closed loop process that will maintain those profiles as the conditions change. So you see that maintains the subscriber's quality of experience until the impairment can be fixed. And that's, again, eventually you want to go fix these things. This is kind of a Band-Aid. It's going around the impairment, but you want to make sure that you get those things fixed so that you can get even more people up at higher modulation orders. Bring subscribers back on OFDM and OFDMA channels while reducing utilization on your SC-QAM. And that's an important point. So again, most cable operators, they're running DOCSIS 3.0 and DOCSIS 3.1, and they've got their SC-QAM channels in one segment, and they've got their OFDM channels, OFDMA channels in another segment. And if you've made the investment for DOCSIS 3.1 and you've got customers out there that have got DOCSIS 3.1 modems, you want them to be on your DOCSIS 3.1 network, because that's kind of how you're planning. You're saying, well, here's my DOCSIS 3.1, my OFDM and OFDMA. I want these customers over here. Here's my SC-QAM, all my customers with DOCSIS 3.0 modems, I want them over there. But if your DOCSIS 3.1 customers are not able to connect, sometimes they don't even connect at a low order modulation on your OFDM channel. They'll drop down to your SC-QAM channels. So suddenly you've increased the capacity, not the capacity, the utilization of your SC-QAM channels. So your DOCSIS 3.1 customers are not happy, and your DOCSIS 3.0 customers are not happy because suddenly there's more people on their segment of the network. Well, this will keep things where they belong. It'll help to do that and get those customers back where they belong. And again, using the infrastructure, the DOCSIS 3.1 plant that you have spent so much on to get in place. So here's how it works. This was a diagram that I found on a Cable Labs blog. So it talks about Cable Labs. And again, you can be confident in this technology because like DOCSIS PNM, Proactive Network Maintenance, PMA was kind of developed in working groups within Cable Labs. So you can go and read up about it and get all of the documents and build this yourself, or you can come to us and it's all built. But this is if you were going to be looking at, for example, Cable Labs is talking about their particular implementation where you can get this to collect data, and then you've got to build your own applications to do the rest of this stuff. But so you look at basically what happens here. So the first thing is it's collecting the data. So it's looking at the RxMER data from all of these cable modems. It's looking at all the subcarriers, and it's collecting that data. It's determining which devices it can kind of cluster together as far as what profiles they should be on. So it's collecting all of that information. Really, that's kind of that's collecting the information. And the PMA application looks at all of that. It looks at that data, and it determines it creates the custom profiles, and those can be your standard. Usually get your standard OFDM modulation profiles. But this can create custom ones in between that can get your customers maybe up to a little bit higher modulation order. Instead of making a jump from 1024 to 2048, I think might be the two of the ones. You can go in between there. So it's going to create custom profiles. It's going to configure and assign those profiles on the CMTS for you. So it will do that. And of course, you can keep track of all of this and watch it. And then pushes those profiles to the cable modems so that the cable modems will then use those profiles. And again, it's looking at the plant conditions. It's looking at that cable modem's RxMER, and it's determining what is the best modulation profile for this particular cable modem at this particular time. Okay, again, based on plant conditions. So, and then as the cable modems, back and forth between the CMTS, they're going to use that modulation profile. And again, over time, that may change. So PMA, again, it's a automated process. So as plant conditions change, this portion here, different assignments may be made. So it's basically, again, the whole point is to make the most out of your DOCSIS 3.1 network. So let me go back. Oh, here we go. Okay, so benefits on this. And I mentioned it can increase capacity by up to 40%. And that's been seen, I think Comcast, so they got to like 35, 40% when they were doing this. So first off, it's going to maximize your return on your DOCSIS investment, specifically DOCSIS 3.1. But also, again, your DOCSIS 3.0 plant is going to keep it less utilized as well. So you provide optimal bandwidth to subscribers based on these tailored profiles. So again, it's the kind of thing you would not have the ability to do manually, to go in and figure out each profile, whatever a subscriber should have. Again, ensures 3.1 modems utilize the 3.1 spectrum while reducing utilization on SC-QAM. Again, so you don't want those modems to drop down to your SC-QAM channels. Maximizing throughput in difficult parts of the network with optimized profiles. So as you've got different areas where there's, let's say, a bad area of noise, LTE ingress or something like that, it will avoid those areas, and it will get as many customers as it can up to the higher modulation profiles. And then in those areas, rather than dropping everybody down, it will have just a slice of customers that have to go to a more robust modulation. Increases network resiliency to protect and grow your revenue. So again, this is the kind of thing where it's an ongoing process, automated in the background. Ensures subscribers stay connected even when plant impairments arise. Again, those impairments can change. You can have something that pops up one day, and then the next day it's gone, and then a week later it's back again, and could be temperature or moisture changes in the plant. deliver a higher quality of experience by dynamically applying the best profiles according to changing conditions, reducing churn, it mentions. So again, as customers, if customers are having a bad experience, they're going to call and complain. And if it's inconsistent, again, they might have good service one day, and then for 2 days it's bad, or maybe it's bad all the time because everybody on that, even if they've got a good conditions around them, if the whole channel drops down because of a particular impairment as a default, then that's not going to be good for any of your customers. Greater capacity delivers a path to upsell higher speed packages. So as you increase the capacity, you can get more customers on higher bandwidth packages. So let's say you want to offer gig packages. If you use PMA, you're going to be able to have more customers that can have a modulation profile that supports that. You can get more people, let's say on 4096, be able to provide a gig service. And it does give you the ability to prioritize fixing things, as you see these problems. And, while you're preparing to fix these things, it's kind of like proactive network maintenance in that way. It gives you time to fix them without it really impacting significantly your customers, because your customers are already they're kind of getting around those impairments, and they've got a pretty good solid connection for them for what they're able to get. And then later you can go out and fix that. So it gives you some time to do that. Proactive network maintenance, PNM, is similar, where PNM is implementing pre-acquisition so that you can use that to overcome some impairments while you fix those problems. And this is doing the PMA adjustments on the profiles, again, giving you time to fix these impairments. Reduce CapEx, OpEx spend. So a lot of times what cable operators will throw more money at the infrastructure to try to fix things, maybe do some node splits, build out the network, do some other things in the network, whereas this will allow you to defer or maybe even eliminate those costs, because again, you're using the most out of the infrastructure that you have. Whereas if you are not doing this and you need to do node splits to be able to get more capacity, that's in a sense a worse Band-Aid. You'd rather just go find the problems and fix them, but you need to be able to find them first. And this allows you, again, to get people working where you want them to be and then have time to fix that. Extend the life of your DOCSIS network without additional network build out. And that's important also, for DOCSIS providers. Eventually, everybody in the world is going to be going to fiber if you can at all go to fiber. That includes cable operators. Cable operators today are going fiber in greenfield areas. And in certain areas of where they have more competition, they're going to fiber. Maybe they're overbuilding their plant, or they're using nodes that can support DOCSIS or fiber out there. And if they have a particular customer that they want to offer fiber to, they can do that. So they're doing that maybe selectively. But it's very, very costly to change a customer who's on a cable modem to fiber, because you've got different equipment. You've got to get the coax out of there, get the fiber in there. And we're talking, a couple of $100 is what it's costing cable operators to, per home passed for upgrading their DOCSIS network, let's say to 3.0 or from 3.0 to 3.1, versus doing an upgrade to fiber where you're talking about a couple of $1,000 generally per home passed if you're going to do that. So for cable operators, it's better for them to be able to upgrade their cable plant and get more capacity. And this allows you to actually use the most of that. So it's, again, going to defer anything that you need to do as far as node splits and extending the life of your DOCSIS network in general. So you can provide higher speeds to more customers for longer, allowing you to make the most out of that investment that you've already made in your HFC network. Automatic remote profile application allows for impairment prioritization, reduced calls to customer care, fewer truck rolls. So again, that's the resiliency as PMA continually is making these adjustments to the profiles. Then customers who normally would have dropped down, they can then be put on a different profile that will get them up higher again. Or you can get around those. If some noise pops up, you can get around that. It's all done dynamically in the background. And again, that's going to reduce calls to your call center. So that's a good thing. It's going to reduce truck rolls where people are rolling a truck trying to figure out why a customer's experience is bad. You can get these things automatically taken care of in the background. And again, it gives you time to then see that you've got a problem and fix the problem, and go fix the real problem. Instead of rolling a truck to a customer home, you can see that you've got maybe a suck out that's impacting 100 customers, so you can go fix that instead of rolling a truck to several different customer homes and not trying to figure out where that is, what the problem is. So kind of the workflow here, again, PMA, it's going to identify the impairment. It's going to apply the right profiles to get those optimally high for everybody. And it gives you the chance to prioritize the repair as you see what is impacting people. You can use then a P&M tool like our pre-equalization analyzer tool to then figure out where that is and go send somebody out there and fix it. And then you can see how that maybe has helped out. You can see how that's increased maybe the capacity on your network, more customers connecting on DOCSIS 3.1, less utilization on your DOCSIS 3.0 plant, those kinds of things. And some of the things I mentioned a suck out, some of the things that will impact the cable plant. Again, you got LT ingress, tilt, roll off, suck outs, waves, standing waves, sweep generator interference. All these kinds of things can cause issues on the network, and you want to be able to identify those things and again work around them. So this is a sample upstream MAC domain here, and you can see the suck out that was seen by looking at all the RxMER data. And you can see on this particular case, this is where you would want everybody to be, about 4096 here on the modulation. But nobody was connecting here on DOCSIS 3.1 because this, again, the default that the CMTS will do is just drop everybody down, and that's not a good thing. And this gives you an example of what PMA will do. Again, the algorithm works around the suck out to provide the best quality experience until the impairment can be fixed. So instead of being way down here, you're going to have most subscribers that are not impacted by this will be up in this area, and then you've got to kind of work around, and certain subscribers will be assigned a lower modulation, and kind of more something that will not be causing them problems, something more robust. And again, it kind of works around the suck out, and then you've got again your subscribers up here. So rather than have everybody have a bad experience, you can have most people having a good experience, and then some others have to get assigned something a little bit lower just because of the particular plant issues where they are. But most people are getting a good experience there. And you can see here, just kind of looking after the fact. This is mentioning a date that they had identified the suck out and they fixed the impairment. And you can see that subscribers, this is your DOCSIS 3.0. This was the DOCSIS 3.0 network here. This is the DOCSIS 3.1 network here. Nobody connecting. And then as the impairment is fixed, you can see here that you've got less utilization on your DOCSIS 3.0 network, and you've got more utilization on your DOCSIS 3.1 network. So you're looking at here, this was average per day. So you're looking at 85% average in a day, which is not good, because if that's the average, then there's times where it's peaking above that, maybe even hitting 100%, where suddenly subscribers are having timeouts, those kinds of things. So this is not good here, but it drops from there down to below 40% here in some of this, and then you've got your DOCSIS 3.1 up over 20% there on utilization as that change was made, and same basically as PMA is employed. This is an example showing a field trial result. So you've got again this increase of 24.5% channel capacity gain. Went from 770 megabits on that channel to 958 megabits per second on that channel. So this is the kind of results that you can see. And again, this is an ongoing thing. So you implement this and you'll see these kinds of results. But then again, this is then maintained over time through this closed loop process that is continually optimizing the modulation profiles. So it's the kind of thing that you can keep track of and watch, but you don't need to really be involved in. You want to make sure that you're looking and seeing what's happening, and again, identifying those things that you need to fix. but it is keeping your customers happy as it works around these impairments. This is an example, again, showing you where, when the change was made, you can see code word errors. You've got, this is bad here with code word errors, and this is good here. So you can see just the significant difference with code word errors as the change was made. So where this product is now, this is actually not yet in the PNM application. It's being incorporated into it, but you can get it today. So you can get the PMA today, and you get a dashboard like this, and you'll see you'll also get some charts like we were just looking at, that you can see various things. And of course, it's got everything on the back end that's doing all of the tuning of the modulation profiles. But you do have a dashboard like this, but eventually sometime this year, probably mid-year, it's going to be kind of phased in, where it's going to be incorporated into our PNM, pre-equalization analyzer dashboard. So this is our PNM product right here. So I'm not sure yet how that's going to look. I don't know if there may be a widget. This will be a separate product or that you can license under pre-equalization analyzer. So it may be that there'll be a widget for that you'll see, or there'll certainly may be a menu choice in here. But that way you'll be able to get to the PMA interface within this interface right here. So that's what's being worked on right now. So the developers are working on that. But as I mentioned, you can get PMA today. So if you are in the midst of DOCSIS 3.1, or you're doing DOCSIS 3.1 and you realize that you're not getting the most out of it, that you've got a lot of customers that could be on a higher level profile, then you definitely want to reach out to us. We can help you with that. So hopefully this was educational for you as to what PMA is. And we can certainly, if you've got an interest in this, reach out, let us know. You see our email there, our phone number, web address. I put a link to a page and a product sheet in the description if you want to go check that out, as well as I think a link to the PA, or pre-equalization analyzer page in general for PNM. And again, these two things work together very well. They are both kind of a proactive approach and a self-healing approach that will keep your customers getting better service while it gives you time to proactively go fix things. So if you look at DOCSIS PNM, proactive network maintenance, the whole point of that, again, is to turn on pre-equalization on your CMTS. And what that does is it then tells the cable modems to to adjust their signal to get around an impairment. So if the cable modem hits an impairment, it will actually send the inverse signal so that when it gets to the CMTS, everything looks good. And that works really well until the impairment gets so bad it can't do that, and then customers go offline. It could be one customer, or if that impairment's infecting something out in the plant, it's affecting 20 customers, and 20 customers go offline. But it gives you time to see it. It kind of, again, it self-heals it in a sense. It can make it look better up until a point where the cable modem doesn't have enough power to compensate. But it gives you time to see it and to fix it. And PMA is similar in a sense, except it's changing the modulation profiles. But again, it lets you know that there's a problem. And then you can use the PNM application that I was just showing, the dashboard there. You can use that to be able to then get further information on where that impairment is. And again, just like with the other kinds of things that you're looking at in PNM, it lets you go out and fix that. So proactively fixing things is much better than reactively. And unfortunately, a lot of cable operators tend to do things reactively. It's like they get a customer call. Okay, let's figure out what's going on. Okay, I think we got to roll a truck. They roll a truck, and it's not just that customer; it's other people, and you wind up reacting to problems when you could be proactively fixing them. That's especially important, again, as you've got multiple customers that could be impacted, because when things are like that, you have intermittent problems. Before the cable modems start to completely fail, there'll be intermittent things. Again, a temperature will change a little bit, and you'll suddenly start to get calls, and then it goes away. And by the time you get out there and check things, everything looks okay. Well, eventually, again, it's going to get so bad that everybody goes down. So it's better to go ahead and proactively fix those things. And then in the future, you won't have to worry about those truck rolls where you're individually going to subscriber homes trying to figure what's going on. So it really makes a tremendous difference in your costs as far as CapEx and OpEx. Again, OpEx call center, truck rolls, CapEx, maybe PMA, maybe not having to do node splits, and you can defer those things, put them off, or not even do them basically by getting, again, the most capacity out of your DOCSIS 3.1 network. So thanks for joining me. If this was helpful, if you give me a like on the video, I'd appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, click the subscribe button, ring the bell, you'll be notified when I am live. And again, reach out to us if you're interested in DOCSIS Proactive Network Maintenance or this DOCSIS Profile Management Application. You got to love all the acronyms. They can get a little confusing at times. So we can help you with either one. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.